Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Ayşe Süberkaş. The year started on a positive note for Türkiye and Greece. Both countries held regular meetings to address long-running disputes. But relations took a turn for the worse after Greece's Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, visited Washington late last month. President Erdogan accused Mitsotakis of using his address to Congress to block a potential weapons deal with Turkey and subsequently cancelled all future meetings with the Greek leader. Tensions have since risen between the NATO allies, with Greece putting its armed forces on high alert in the eastern Aegean Sea. Ankara has long criticized Greece's militarization of a string of islands in the Aegean, saying it goes against both the Lausanne and Paris Treaties. Tensions between the two countries last flared back in 2020 over drilling and exploration rights in the eastern Mediterranean. So, are the two neighbors headed for a tumultuous summer, or can both sides come to a compromise? And to answer where relations between Turkey and Greece could be headed, joining me now from Ankara is Yücel Acar. He is a professor at Yıldırım Beyazıt University and an international law expert at SETA, a security and policy think tank. And from Singapore, James Dorsey. He is a senior fellow at Singapore's Nanyang Technological University. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. James, why have tensions between Turkey and Greece flared again? What has changed since March, when the two leaders agreed to avoid provocations when the Ukraine conflict as in its early days?
I don't think that we can see the rise of tension between Turkey and Greece independent of the broader relationship that is happening at the moment between Turkey and NATO. So, with other words, you have the issue of the Finnish and Swedish membership in NATO that Turkey objects to as long as those two Nordic nations do not adopt Turkish policies with regard to the PKK and the Syrian Kurdish groups. And so I think that all of this is part of raising the tensions and, if you wish, a form of brinkmanship in advance, particularly in advance of the NATO summit later this month.
So, Yücel, would you agree? I mean, what's behind the timing of Greece's decision in a way to escalate tensions with Turkey? Because his speech to Congress last month, where the Greek Prime Minister hinted that the US should block the sale to F-16s to Turkey, came just days after Ankara announced that it was not in favor of Sweden and Finland's possible memberships into NATO. So could Mitsotakis have timed this to apply some pressure on Turkey?
That's right, actually. It's not the first time the Greece and Turkey has having tensions times, but I think this time it comes a bit surprise to public because we have been actually Greece and Turkey have been having some negotiations started in early 2021. So during that time, it's quite a bit surprised that such a tension arose. I should emphasize that, with the start of, Russian aggression against Ukraine, there have emerged some issues that Greece really wanted to use this, rather problematic issues against Turkey, just as, in NATO or some sanctions against Russia. All these issues have been used by Greece to put pressure on Turkey, especially by major countries like United States or some European Union countries. It's actually quite obvious that although there is no reason for Turkey to raise any tensions issue at such a tensions times, but I think it was for Greece to raise these issues to put pressure on Turkey.
So, James, following latest spats between the two countries, Greece's armed forces in the eastern Aegean have been placed on high alert. Is this a troubling sign? Has it happened during previous periods of tensions between the two?
I would agree with Yücel Bey that indeed the Greeks are exploiting a situation that exists as a result of the dispute over the NATO membership of Sweden and Norway. I think that the raising of the military alert, we've seen that before. Let's keep in mind that it's only about 2 years ago that we had serious tensions in the Eastern Mediterranean. I think this is all part of, if you wish, call it bluff poker, call it shadow boxing, but it is a situation created by the disagreements over NATO membership that allows all kinds of other conflicts to come to and disputes to come to the fore.
So UJET has the extended military agreement between Greece and the U.S., which has given American troops greater access to land and naval bases, emboldened the Athens administration to ramp up its rhetoric against Turkey, or there are different reasons for that?
Actually, there are different reasons in a sense. There is an incredible level of, enormous Turkish threat perception in Greece, both in governments and in public of Greece. So actually the governments are actually using these purchase of weapons from major countries like Germany, France, and United States, actually for two reasons, in my perception. The first one is that, they try to improve their relations with these countries through purchasing weapons from these countries. This is the first, I think, major reason for Greek purchase of military stuff. The second one is actually for the Greek public, it's quite justifying reason to buy weapons, against Turkey. So all of them actually creates, in a sense, a perception of stronger Greece against Turkey.
So, James, would you agree? I mean, how would Greece's purchase of French-made Rafale fighter jets, as well as its future purchase of F-36 fighter jets from the U.S., alter the balance in the region when it came to air superiority? I mean, is Turkey likely to lose its edge?
Well, first of all, I think that we've got to keep one thing in mind, that Greece historically has looked at its foreign policy through the prism of a perceived threat from Turkey. The fact that Greece at the moment is, one, diversifying its sources of weaponry, but also buying new weapons at a moment that you have a war in in Europe, namely the war in Ukraine, is not surprising. What the balance, as it relates to the balance of power, of military air power, if you wish, I think a lot is going to depend on how the dispute over Sweden and Finland is resolved. So, with other words, there is going to be a deal. What Turkey wants is upgrades of its current F-16, aging F-16s. It wants to be able to buy advanced new F-16s, and ideally be reintegrated into the F-35 program, the U.S. most advanced fighter jet, from which Turkey was expelled or suspended as a result of the purchase of the S-400 Russian anti-missile defense system. All of that is probably, or at least parts of that, are going to have to be part of the bargain that is made in order to, on the one hand, satisfy Turkish demands, and on the other hand, allow for the integration of Finland and Sweden into NATO. And so I think that ultimately is going to be part of what determines the balance of air power. So,
Yücel, could this arms race between the two countries boil over into a conflict, or it's a game of controlled escalation at the moment?
I think, there would be no real chance to evolve into a military conflict between Greece and Turkey. But, this is because, Greece and, let's say, United States have different reasons, for these military escalations in the region. United States is rather trying to use the Greek, acceptance of these weapons and military bases as a suitable, place and time to put some military stuff against any possible threats in the region. But I don't think it's against Turkey. So, but on the Greek side, Greece feels stronger if there are, U.S. weapons and military bases.
Yes.
In long term, I think Greece would not be satisfied as it accepts, because there is always a chance that the relations between US and Turkey could improve after solving such periodical disputes like in Syria or some other places.
Yes. So, James, if they engage militarily, how would this hurt NATO's credibility amidst the Ukraine crisis? And could this derail diplomatic talks between Finland, Turkey, and Sweden?
First of all, I don't think that you're going to see this escalate into a military confrontation. Neither Greece nor Turkey wants a military confrontation. They may want heightened tensions for political purposes, but they don't want a war. Obviously, if there were a conflict, that would weaken NATO's southern flank. Again, at the moment, the emphasis in NATO is not on the southern flank; it's on the eastern flank because of Ukraine. But nonetheless, I don't think that it would weaken NATO's credibility as such. Depending on how such a conflict would evolve, it could affect either Turkey or Greece's standing, or both of those.
Okay, so Yücel, what's your take on Europe's position on this? What do you make of Germany's stance? I mean, they called on Turkey to exercise some restraint. I mean, in a way, they sided with Greece in this latest round of tensions. So is the new government less eager about keeping a balance between Turkey and Greece?
Actually, I think there are two-side games on European countries and on Greece, actually. It's not, a secret matter that Turkey is having some problems with some European countries, especially, recently in NATO extension and some other issues like refugee crisis or something. So, when Greece is actually, hiding the tension against Turkey, let's say recently, actually, Germany is quite surprisingly taking these issues similarly against Turkey, like the militarization of Greek islands in the Eastern Aegean Sea.
Yes.
In violation of international conventions. That's quite clearly against international law. But Germany, surprisingly, takes a side on Greece, probably to put pressure on Turkey by European countries.
Yes.
For some other reasons.
All right, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk. Appreciate it a lot.